Hey, Michelle with Treecat here. How you doing? I hope you're having a great day. Um, I just wanted to welcome you to the Treecat tutorial today that I'll be doing on Delist Relist. Delist Relist is a very powerful tool that we can use as resellers or sellers. And we have provided you here at Treecat with a very sort of set it and forget it way of doing Delist Relist. And we have a lot of really rich tools that are at your disposal that lets you see what you're doing, how you're doing it, when it's happening. And so I wanted to just kind of do an update because it's July of 2025. And a lot has changed in the reselling and selling and online selling world. So where to start here? Where to start? I would say let's just do a quick overview of sort of some of the tutorials that I put together, in the past. If you go to Treecat's YouTube page, type in like treecat.io into the search, you'll find some initial tutorials that I put together. This one's called How to Do an Immediate Delist Relist. And it goes through how to find Delist Relist, how to use it, and that sort of thing. There's also a tutorial on our YouTube page called Immediate versus Scheduled Delist Relist. And that talks about, not only can you do it immediately, but you can schedule it, right? And that's on our YouTube page, treecat.io. And we also have kind of an overview. Immediate versus scheduled delist relist. So the first one is how to do a delist relist. And we have an immediate versus scheduled delist relist. And so there's a couple of tutorials that we already, and then we have an overview. We have one that's an overview. So there's a couple of different tutorials, but we've made some improvements since I did these tutorials. So that's why I wanted to kind of do an update. Before I get to this, I wanted to just talk about a little bit about some news that I've noticed this week, because I like to try to bring some insights, news, and commentary about the dynamically changing world of e-commerce reselling and re-commerce. And if you haven't already seen Rockstar Flippers, maybe you've already seen this, but he did a video about how eBay just slapped tariffs on US buyers, right? So maybe think twice before you opt to buy things from, overseas. I don't know. I'm personally not buying and I'm not selling. I had a pretty bad experience recently on Etsy. I bought something from someone who was supposedly a seller in the UK, but turns out they were not from the UK. And it took like a couple of months and nothing happened. So anyways, interesting stuff. The other piece of news that I thought was interesting is that OpenAI, and I saw this on Wired magazine, OpenAI, which is ChatGPT, they own I guess they own it, or I don't know. They run ChatGPT. They're going to be doing shopping, right? So they're going to be challenging Google and starting to do like, if you want to do a search for something, you'll be able to like buy it through them and they'll have a checkout. So it's kind of, they're getting into sort of, and you can read this article on e-commerce times, they're getting into doing chatbots and chatbots that will allow you to discover items that you're looking for. And then you can buy them, right? You can then check them out through ChatGPT instead of like Google, where it will tell you, if you're doing a search the old way, right? And then it will send you to that website. It will send you to eBay or whatever. Now they're trying to get into the e-commerce. ChatGPT is trying to get into the e-commerce business. So I mentioned this. I thought this was going to happen a while ago, and I did a video on it called Think Like a Buyer. And you can find that on the Treecat.io YouTube channel. And it's just, about how I was talking about how search is going to become more agentic. And what does that mean to you as a reseller? Well, or as a seller, online seller? It means that you're going to have to start thinking in terms of the way people search. So instead of having just keywords, you might think about what's the utility of the item that I'm selling? What's the natural language? How are people going to be searching for this? And what are the styles, right? What's the style? So I don't think we have to worry about this right this second, but just something to start thinking about in the future as to how you're building your titles and descriptions, and how you're making sure that everything's filled in terms of item specifics, so that you can get discovered in many different ways. You can get discovered the old-fashioned way through SEO, or you can get discovered the new way through GEO, right? Okay, so with that being said, I wanted to get into Delist Relist. So where do you find it, right? That's the first question that people ask. Well, you go to your inventory page. This is my inventory page, right? We have 3 different tabs: inventory, sales, and settings. Go to your inventory page, and you can then search what you want to delist relist. You could, of course, select all of your items if you wanted to. I don't do these sort of nuclear resets. I just don't find them particularly helpful. I try to be a little bit more strategic, and I personally just like to drip maybe 10 a day, just my personal preference, to show activity, right? Instead of, hold on a second. Instead of doing these huge shocks to the system where, I may not then end up converting, and then it sort of affects my, just affects the algorithm in ways that I don't want to affect it. So I like to drip about 10 a day if I'm doing delist relist campaigns. So if you wanted to just do some items, like you wanted to search, you go in the search and you would type in a keyword. I'm going to type in balconette, and I'm going to search for a time period, let's say last quarter. And there's various ways that you can do your searches. You can do keywords. You can do searches by the SKU, the custom SKU, color, whatever. There's a way in each of these inventory items to do a tag, or do a label. But I'm just going to do this quick and easy way of just typing in a keyword and a time period. And then what I can do is I can just select the items that I want. I can do all. I can do the select all. That's 70 items. Or I can just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 items. Okay. And then I go to main actions, and I tell it to delist relist these 6 items. And I can do an immediate. I can click this button that says start a one time, or I can schedule the frequency, right? Now, the first thing that you need to do, though, before you do that, is that you have to select which platforms you want to do it on. Now, these days, I'm only doing delist relists on eBay and Mercari. I'm excluding Poshmark. And you might want to do that too. And let's say you're a seasoned delist relist user, and you're saying, I would like to not do it on Poshmark. So you can select Poshmark, and you can schedule the frequency to 0 and click confirm. And that will cancel out any Poshmark delist relist that you've previously scheduled. But so you can do it. So you can do that. Or you can say, I'd like to go ahead and do a scheduled delist relist campaign on eBay and Mercari, and I'd like it to happen immediately, one time, just one time, and I want it to happen now. Now, if you wanted to do it on a scheduled frequency, you would click the button below that called scheduled frequency, and you can select the number of days that you want to do it on. Okay, and you can see here that we tell you, okay, so I need to deselect Poshmark, because if I select Poshmark, what it's telling you is that you have to choose a frequency greater than 61 days, because Poshmark does not allow you to do delist relists of items that are younger than 60 days. So me personally, I'm taking a break from Poshmark delist relisting right now. And so yeah. So that's just what I'm doing, and you can do it how you want to do it, but I'm personally taking a break. There we go. So anyways, you can do the frequency, and if you do the frequency, let's say I set the frequency to 29 days, 28 days for eBay and Mercari. They will both have the same frequency. Now, if you wanted to just do different frequencies for eBay and Mercari, you'd set up them individually. So I'd do another tab where I would duplicate, and then I would use this same search term and select the same items, and then I would say this one's going to be delist relisting just on Mercari because I want a different frequency. So maybe I want to be a little bit more aggressive on Mercari, and I want to do like 23 or 24 days on Mercari. And then, but on eBay, maybe I want to be a little bit more conservative and I want to choose 28 days. So then you would just confirm the selection and it would happen in perpetuity, right? Sorry about my camera, guys. My camera is just wigging out today. There we go. So yeah, so those, now you're probably wondering, well, how do I know what's going on? And that's why we created the dashboard. So we created this dashboard. Let's see, where is this dashboard? You can go, actually, let me get out of this, and you can go to your settings and you can go to scheduled, delist, relist, stats. And that's your dashboard to tell you what's going on. So you can see today is 7/19/2025. And I have not scheduled any delist relists, but if I click in to this, it will show me the history of what I have going on. So this is, it'll do it a year in advance and it'll show you what's going to happen, what's coming up. Oops, let me go back to that. Sorry, I accidentally, there we go. So if I click into eBay and then it'll show me what's happening in the future a year in advance. And then I can go down, I can actually see what's happening, today. I can see, let's see, today is, so I did some delist relists on the 18th and it'll show me what I did in the past. And you can actually drill in to see what I did in the past, right? So, and then you can see 7/31, that's when I stopped doing it on Poshmark because I was like, I'm going to take a little break from that right now. And so, yeah, so that's the dashboard, and it gives you a little bit more of an overview. And let's say you're just like, hey, I just want to like clear everything out and set it back to 0. Well, if you choose to do that, like I showed you, like by doing checking basically all of your platforms, and you just set the frequency to 0 and confirm your selection, that's going to clear everything out and just you're going to start from scratch when you do something like that. And you can choose to select all your platforms or just one of your platforms or 2 of your platforms. Now, a word of caution, if you are going to be running delist relist campaigns and you want your matches to stay together, right? So your eBay, your Poshmark, your Mercari match, like everything in Treecat, if you go to the inventory page, you can see that like I have all these inventory items that are green are all matches. These ones I haven't cross-listed, so they're not matches, and that's why they're red and yellow. But these ones that are on these I haven't cross-listed either because they're only on eBay, so I need to cross-list them. But all these items down here, these are matched together, and you want those matches to stay matched together so that when one sells, Treecat can take the other 2 down for you 24/7. You just have to make sure that your agent is running, right? And that's the agent that you install on your computer. Make sure that that's running and your computer doesn't go into sleep mode. And that's how you can have a really robust experience of making sure that the items get taken down. So anyways, where was I? Yeah, so this is considered a match. And if I click into this match, and let's just say I wanted to delist relist this just by itself, you can do that one at a time too. You just click down here on the bottom, you click delist relist, and then you can do that on whatever platforms or combination of platforms you want. So there's a lot of flexibility here. There's a lot of really rich and robust tools, I think. And I think, if you're interested in sort of a set it and forget it, delist relist experience, we offer you some great tools for that. Now, just remember, when you're doing delist relist campaigns, you want to do them on Treecat so that your matches stay connected. And if you were to say, take your items on eBay and do the delist relist using their end item sell similar process, those items will not get recognized on Treecat. And then you will have to somehow, not somehow, that you can sync them in and you can use our fast match to then reconnect them. But that's kind of, not a great experience. So my recommendation is if you're going to do your delist relist, you do them through Treecat so that your matches stay connected together and you have all the benefits of the, when one item sells, we take the other items down for you. So if you have any questions, we will certainly be happy to answer any questions related to the delist relist process or what have you. But that's just a kind of a quick, update as to where we're at in 2020, July of 2025. And I'd love to hear how you're using Delist Relist to help your sales and how that's working for you. So please reach out with any comments, suggestions that you might have. We do have a Reddit forum. It's r/Treecat. If you have any technical questions, you can go to the top right hand in Treecat and click the little question mark, and that we have documentation there and we have support tickets. So check out my many tutorials on YouTube on Delist Relist. You can go on r/Reddit, or you can ask us directly through our internal support. And we look forward to hearing from you, how you're using it, how you like it, and let us know. And with that being said, guys, I'm going to keep this short because I've got stuff to do, and I know you do too. And so we look forward to seeing you next Saturday with more interesting stuff to talk about e-commerce, about Treecat, about re-commerce, and so forth. News, insight, commentary, etc. So have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time. Mahalo. Bye.